Welcome back to the Larson Show. So Joe Biden has now announced that he thinks he has the authority to tell private companies in America, any that have 100 employees and more, you must make your employees vaccinate. And if they do not vaccinate, you must do testing once a week on every single employee who does not. Now, what better person to put this question to than Heidi St John, who's running for the nomination to replace Jamie Herrera Butler in Washington's 3rd Congressional District. Heidi, welcome back to the program. I didn't know these two were going to coincide so well, and I appreciate you being patient as we let Joe tell a few lies today. Welcome back to the program, by the way.
Hey, thank you for having me back. I'm glad to be here.
One of the things I want to call out, Heidi, is this guy seems to lie so readily to the public, and I don't know if you want to comment on that. I want you to comment on the private sector mandate that he's just laid down without any action by Congress or anyone else. But he came out and said, when I came into office, only 2 million people had been vaccinated. Well, the CDC disagrees. 16 million had been vaccinated on the day he took the oath, and 1.3 million were being vaccinated every single day as of January 20th. So this guy tells lies on a regular basis, and now he says he claims he has the authority to order every private company in America to force vaccination on its workers. Tell me what you think of that.
Well, I think he's gone from being a president with dementia to being a dictator with dementia. So here's this guy in there who suddenly thinks that he is the dictator over a communist country. This isn't the way we do things in the United States of America. And actually, I just did a Facebook Live about this about a half an hour ago on my largest page. But I was wanting to tell the people there, this is not the way this country works. We need to stand up against what he is doing. This is going to cripple our economy. I've already talked to 3 business owners in my circle of friends who have more than 100 employees. No way they're going to bend to this dictate. There's no way at all. I wrote down several things. I was taking notes while I was listening to him talk, which honestly, it's hard to listen to the man. I wrote down liar, liar all over my paper. The guy is a liar.
He is a liar, and I'll call him out on the lie. I mean, to start out with basic stuff. I mean, checkable stuff. If I came out and said there are 500 million people in America, people would say, Lars, you're crazy. That number's easy to look up. You're lying about it. Why would do you have any sense, does he just not know what he's talking about? Or does he actually have people writing stuff for him where they say, we can say anything we want? Because even if they check it and find out it's not true, the media won't make a big deal of it.
Yeah, well, he obviously has people writing things for him. He's always asking their permission on live television. Can I answer this question? Can I take that question? This guy is not calling the shots for his own administration. But one of the things he said that just irked me was he's calling this a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Let me tell you why they're doing what they're doing. Because fear is the only thing they have left in their toolbox. If they're going to cripple the American economy, which it seems to me is their final goal, then they have to make everyone afraid. And I think that's what he's doing. He starts off by saying that it's working, that they've made all of this progress, and that they're down 70%. Well, then why now are you going to come in here and start issuing these draconian edicts from which he has no constitutional authority to do? To me, it stems back to fear. The Democrats have power right now, and the only way they can keep it is to keep people afraid.
The other lie I want to call him out, and I want your comments, Heidi, is that they've been calling this a pandemic that he said almost everybody who died was unvaccinated. Well, Oregon, for example, and I think Washington's numbers are similar, says that as of last week, 20% of the people who are dying are vaccinated. Well, that's not a small number. And I think it points up the fact that this is not really a vaccine. It does not prevent you from getting it. It is a symptom suppressor, meaning that if you get it, they say your symptoms will likely be smaller, unless, of course, you happen to die, in which case that's a major symptom if you die from something. But when 20% of the people in the state of Oregon who die of COVID are dying vaccinated, and then the president comes out and says, oh, all the people who are dying are unvaccinated, that's another major lie, and it suppresses the idea. It hides the fact that this is a symptom suppressor. Israel, one of the most vaccinated countries on the planet, has a major surge of COVID cases right now, and their population is far more vaccinated than the American population. So when they say, if we just get everybody vaccinated, we won't have a problem, well, Israel could say, we have almost everybody vaccinated, and we have a major problem.
Yeah, that's right. If you look to the country of Gibraltar, which has a 100% vaccination rate, their hospitals are filled with COVID patients. Iceland, the same thing. People are hesitant. He keeps calling it vaccine hesitancy. They're hesitant because these numbers are real. The deaths of people that are dying when they're vaccinated are real. And I have a question. Why is he not promoting treatment? There are treatments readily available now. I have these people on my podcast all the time talking about remdesivir. They're talking about budesonide, things that will actually help people. Yes, and have you noticed that no one is promoting these treatments in the Biden administration?
Hold on. Not in Biden, but DeSantis in Florida said we're going to set up 1,500 monoclonal antibodies, that's the Regeneron, clinics. And I thought, okay, that's aggressive. I checked. As of last Friday, they had treated 40,000 people. That keeps them alive. It keeps them out of the hospital. It keeps them out of the ICU. And just today, I noticed there are pharmacies that are offering it. So if you think, well, yeah, but monoclonal, that sounds complicated. Probably have to go to the hospital. Well, you can. But apparently, it's a treatment that is not only relatively inexpensive, but can be done at a freaking pharmacy. And why isn't that being pushed by Jay Inslee, by Kate Brown, and by Joe Biden? And for the life of me, I don't understand the motivation to say, let's not treat people with the tools we know are available, including ivermectin, and there's new evidence out on that today, hydroxychloroquine, Regeneron, remdesivir, which I think they made deliberately hard to say. I mean, what explains all this, Heidi?
Well, I think it's greed. I think it's greed, and it's pushing fear. I call them the panic pimps, these people that are pushing panic out into the culture. Listen, I had COVID. I was down with it for 2 weeks. I was treated with ivermectin. It wasn't very much fun, but like 99.9% of people that get the Rona, I survived. They're not talking about the 99.9% survival rate. This would calm the fears of the American people, but instead they are using it to divide us. I talk to people all over Washington State's 3rd Congressional District who are losing their jobs because they refuse to get vaccinated. Grown men who are coming up to me at campaign stops and saying, please do something. I have worked for the Department of Corrections for 15 or 20 years, and I'm being fired from my job. I heard from someone who's an employee at the Vancouver clinic who got fired from her job. She works from home, Lars, and they fired her from her job. This is not about our health. And I have contended from the very beginning that it has not been about our health. This is about control. It is about fear. Something bigger is going on than a virus with a 99.9% survival rate. And frankly, Biden just made my point loud and clear in his ridiculous statement to the American people.
And I'm willing to bet Heidi St John has not been offered a card saying, I've had the Rona, I don't need the vax. And we're getting a lot of those. I heard from a federal employee today who said, I'm going to get fired because I won't take the vax, but I've already had the disease and the test shows I've got the antibodies. Why do I need the vax? None of this is being explained. Heidi, tell us your website real quick. You're running to beat and replace Jamie Herrera Butler.
That's right. Heidi St John for Congress.com. People can go there and find out about this. I think that this is going to be the next civil rights fight of this generation, is the fight for medical freedom. And we're going to have to stand together and say no to these illegal, unconstitutional dictates that are coming down from on high.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's Heidi St John, one of the candidates running to replace Jamie Herrera Butler, who should be replaced in the United States Congress. We're expecting to hear from Congresswoman Butler one of these days. You're listening to The Lars Larson Show.